Hey there, this is Jason, and I'm heading into the main entrance of my orchard. When I was planning out this orchard, I was really excited for this to all come together, and this year it finally is. On either side of my gate, I have ice cream bananas or blue Java bananas. I have my main entrance, which opens up, both doors can, and then framing that is this multi-grafted bougainvillea. I actually have two plants, one on either side, and just this year they went ahead and touched up at the top, creating that seamless look. The bananas that I planted were intended to be these tall columns on either side, and I knew that as soon as I planted the bananas, that in a few years I would have more bananas than I could handle. And that's okay because I had plans. I was going to plant one banana plant, let it reproduce or pup out, take the pups, and then continue with bananas down the fence line right over here, just like I have already done with the bananas over here on this side. If I take a peek over the wall, you'll see that I have 4 additional varieties of bananas. They're much younger, so they're not as tall and as prominent yet, but they're getting there. They're growing quite a bit this year. And what I'm doing over here on the west side of my gate, or on the west side of my orchard, I want to do the exact same over here on the east side. So this is the year, and there's a couple reasons why I want to do this right now. First off, these guys should start flowering and fruiting any day, and when that happens, I want all the energy to go to the parent plant, or the main banana plant. You can see that right here in the center. That's the thickest one, and these pups are robbing nutrients from the parent plant. So by separating out the pups and replanting them, I'm allowing that main plant to take in all of the water and nutrients that are going into the ground. But I also need to keep a few pups around, because once these banana plants flower, they die off. They're a one-time deal. So I need to have 1 or 2 successors in line. So I'm not going to remove all of these, but I am going to remove the ones that are closest to my new bananas. You can see if I peek over here that this pup right here on what is the right side is sort of shading out and overshadowing this guy down here, which I believe is Goldfinger. And I don't want that. So this guy right here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove that. I'll show you how I'll do that. I'm going to take a spade shovel. You could do it with a knife too, but a spade is what I have. And I'm going to come down here, and I am going to cut right where my hand is with the spade. And in doing so, I'll separate out this pup, which is... Alright, so here's a quick update. I want to show you just how small the space is that I'm working in. I'm having a really hard time getting my foot down on the top of that spade and giving any amount of pressure. So, I might go ahead and switch over to the knife technique so that I can get down there and make a nice clean cut. So let's go ahead, let's switch up the method. I'm using this kitchen knife to go ahead and score around this banana pup. And I'm actually finding some additional smaller pups that were hidden underneath the mulch. So I accidentally wiped out a few other pups in the process, but that's okay. These will send up more as time goes on. So again, I'm going to keep working on this. Eventually I'll take my garden shovel, I'll take my spade, and I'll try and get underneath it once I feel like the pup over here is separated enough from the parent plant. Alright, so after a little bit of work, that's the hole that the banana came out of. And here's the pup. This thing is a good 6 feet tall. Down here at the end you can see there's a lot of roots, a lot of big roots. Some of the finer roots I lost, but there's some root hairs there, so that's all good. You don't want to remove a pup too early because it doesn't have a chance to establish its root system. But this is looking pretty good. And then another thing I'm going to do is banana plants lose their moisture through their leaves. Well, all plants do. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove everything but that center leaf, or at least the stalk that will result in a new leaf. And in doing so, I'm going to help this banana plant retain its moisture. In the very beginning, once you separate it out, these roots aren't able to absorb enough ground moisture. And so if too much water is leaking out through the leaves and not enough is coming in through the ground, then I run the risk of killing this plant. But I'm going to go ahead and put this right in the ground. I thought maybe I'd put it in a pot first, but I'm going to go ahead and dig a hole and extend my irrigation out today. And I'm going to put this banana plant right here because it's big enough and it's going to blend in really well with the existing ones. I have some other smaller pups over there that now that I got in there, I'm halfway into removing them. I might go ahead and take those out and continue my lineup down the row here. Alright, so I have my hole. I dug it twice as big and twice as wide, and then I had to backfill it quite a bit. I may have to put more dirt in here. And that's because we don't want to plant our bananas too deep. This is true of all plants, but our banana should be no higher than right here, maybe even a little bit lower than where my finger is. So there's not a whole lot that's going to be under the ground. That poses a couple problems. One, well, the big problem is it's going to fall over. So that's one and really the only problem that's going to affect me, at least immediately. But fortunately, I kind of planned ahead for this. This is why I plant all my bananas along the fence line. The fence itself is going to serve as a trellis. I'll tie it up to that until it gets established in a few months. So let's go ahead, let's put this in the ground. Let's see what it looks like. All right, so I have my banana plant in the ground. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the leaves. And I'm gonna have to stake this to the fence. It's standing upright right now, but with the next wind gust, it's probably gonna blow over. I'm gonna level out the ground a little bit, run irrigation, and tidy this up a little bit, but this is pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and stand back and show you what the final product almost looks like. I now have a third clumping of ice cream bananas here, with that being 2 total on the left-hand side. So this is going to look really good once it all grows in. All right, we're back one last time with the final product. So I had taken a blue Java pup right over here from the parent plant. It was the one that was over here in this open space on the right. I removed it, first using a spade shovel and then realizing that it was in there too good, so I had to resort to the kitchen knife technique. I went ahead and cut it away from the parent plant. I separated out the pup. I dug underneath, trying to keep as many roots intact as I could. I went ahead and I took that pup and I brought it over here to the east side of my fence, and I planted it in the ground next to an existing blue Java. So now I have 3 distinct blue Java plantings. I went ahead and planted it, making sure to keep the soil at the original soil level. I extended my irrigation out here, so now this will get watered every single week. Maybe even a little bit more. I have my hose over here as a reminder, maybe even a little bit more as I'm trying to get it established. To reduce water loss, I went ahead and cut away almost all of the leaves, leaving the one intact here, because right in the center of this leaf is actually the new leaf that has yet to unravel. So I didn't want to go ahead and chop that off because I would be cutting the leaf that has yet to emerge. I also tied this plant to my fence because it is so shallow in the ground that a wind or just gravity after a while might topple this thing over. So it will not fall in my direction or to the left or to the right, and if it falls into the fence, that's okay. And I'll make sure I keep an eye on this plant to see how it's doing and how it's sitting in the ground. So this again is my propagating banana exercise. I hope to do it again, maybe with a smaller banana pup, but my goal is to have bananas all the way over, all the way up to my avocado, and I'm going to see how far I can go before the shade of the avocado is too much. So here we are so far. This is summer 2024.